Hello guys, welcome to PW Skills Tech. Now guys, I hope everybody's been using ChatGPT, they've been using LLM models, they've been using generative AI. You may also be using Google Bard, right? And some or the other way you may have heard about this term which is called as prompt engineering. Understand this topic is super beneficial, super important if you're right now working in terms of any generative AI tools. Let's say as in a company, your task is probably to create a chatbot with the help of OpenAI APIs, then prompt engineering will definitely be the first thing that you should definitely know. Now in this series of videos in this specific playlist, I'll be discussing about prompt engineering. I will also be showing you with the help of practical implementation with the help of Python and OpenAI API. We'll be understanding various examples and all, right? So let's go ahead without wasting any time. We'll discuss about prompt engineering. In this video, I really want to give you the introduction about generative AI. Where does prompt engineering fit? What are these LLM models? It will give you a lot of brief idea as we go ahead. So without wasting any time, let's go ahead. Now, the first thing that you really need to know, if you have just small idea about machine learning, deep learning, if I probably consider this world, this entire universe, okay, I will basically say that it is basically called as an artificial intelligence, right? At the end of the day, whatever techniques you specifically use, you really need to create an AI application. So artificial intelligence is obviously there. If I talk about machine learning, right? So machine learning is nothing but it is a subset of the artificial intelligence, right? And whenever I talk about machine learning, it provides you different tools and techniques through which you can probably train your own custom models to solve problems like a regression or classification problem based on a specific data set, right? So this is where machine learning is basically used. A lot of stat tools it provides you. It can actually help you in performing classification, regression problem statement, even to predict, or forecast anything as such with respect to various kind of data, right? So that is where machine learning basically comes. Now, if I talk about deep learning is a subset of machine learning, right? And in deep learning, it is not like deep learning just came recently, right? From 1950s, scientists, researchers were thinking that can we make the application learn or a machine learn like how we human being learn something. And that is where the concept of neural network came into existence. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and here specifically you will be using multi-layered neural networks for performing various tasks like classification or regression or image classification, object detection, segmentation, natural language processing use cases like sentiment analysis, chatbots, text summarization. There are various kind of use cases that you can basically solve in deep learning, right? And deep learning performs whenever you try to create models. If you have huge amount of data, it will definitely be performing more and more better, right? So in deep learning, some of the amazing things that we specifically learn are like artificial neural network, convolution neural network, recurrent neural network. If I probably talk about this series of recurrent neural network where you have bidirectional recurrent neural network, LSTM recurrent neural network. Along with that, you also have autoencoders, encoders, decoders. You have transformers, which is there is an amazing research paper which is called as "Attention is All You Need," and then you have BERT models, right? So all these models are specifically used for some of the NLP use cases. It can be a text summarization, it can be chatbot completion, many things as such. Okay. Now that is where deep learning comes into existence. Now in deep learning, specifically we discuss about two types, okay? And probably many of you have heard about generative AI. Now generative AI is one part of the deep learning. So if I talk about generative AI, it is a subset of deep learning. And here the main task is to create models which will be able to generate its own output. It can be generate a new image, it can generate a new text, so it takes some kind of input and it will be able to generate new data. So this kind of models that are basically used in generative AI, we basically say it as LLM models. LLM full form is large language models. There are a lot of many things. These are just the basic things that I really want to explain you so that you get those things in your mind, right? So LLM are nothing but large language model, and it is a subset of generative AI. So guys, now let's go ahead and discuss about deep learning techniques. So, and where this generative AI and LLM fits actually, okay? So usually deep learning techniques are of two types. One is the discriminative AI and one is the generative AI. Now in discriminative AI till now, right, many of the people are familiar with it. There we specifically use multi-layered perceptrons, techniques like ANN, artificial neural network, convolution neural network, recurrent neural network, and in recurrent neural network, we use various networks like long short-term memory, bidirectional, gated GRU unit. Along with this, we have transformer, BERT. All these are techniques where we are focused in solving some kind of use cases. It can be text summarization, it can be language translation, it can be review sentiment analysis, many more such thing, right? Here, the reason we have written supervised learning, because see, you have a huge amount of data and you train this kind of specific model to solve a specific use case. Now, the other technique which is becoming really popular right now is generative AI. So in generative AI specifically, if I probably talk about some of the techniques like GAN, right? Generative adversarial network, autoencoders. So this is having this kind of models are basically having the capability to generate the new content, okay? And it will be trained with some amount of content, but afterwards, whenever we give any kind of input data, it will be able to generate its new own data, right? And when we say generative AI, right now, OpenAI, which has been coming up with this ChatGPT models, right? And where specifically you have GPT 3.5, GPT 4.0. And if you have probably used Google Bard, over there you have used Palm 2 models, right? So this kind of models are actually called as a large language models, and these are nothing but these are generative AI models. Why we say it as a large language models? Because this kind of models are trained with huge amount of data, and within this reinforcement learning is also applied so that this models gives you a better accuracy with kind of any kind of response it is probably generating, okay? And I will probably make a dedicated video like how a ChatGPT is probably trained, okay? So that will be coming up in a separate video. So here only we will be discussing mostly about this LLM models, and recently this is becoming very popular because this accuracy of the specific models are very, very high. And the reason we should right now use it, because in the discriminative AI, here we used to train all the models from scratch, and again to get the accuracy, right accuracy, amazing accuracy, because this in generative AI, what all models are basically coming with respect to LLM, and right now companies like OpenAI are exposing their APIs itself. Through this, we are able to use the state of art, and we will also be able to fine tune this model based on our data set. Okay, so that is the reason this generative AI is becoming really, really popular. Now, if I talk about some of the important models with respect to LLM, large language model, right? Now, in large language model, this can obviously be used in various industries with respect to various domains, just for creating a normal chatbot. Okay, I'm just giving you as an example, because if you have a task that is something related to a specific domain, let's say hospital, let's say finance, let's say retail, e-commerce, right? You can actually use this generative AI tools specifically for your chatbot purpose, so that it will be able to handle many clients itself. So this was just an idea to talk about generative AI. But one of the major thing with respect to this generative AI, whenever we start working with the LLM models, it is nothing but prompt engineering. So here you can probably see an example. I have something called as prompt, and from here only I'll be deriving what exactly prompt engineering is, okay? And then here I have some generative models like large language models and large image models. The large language models, specifically if I say in ChatGPT, we have GPT 3.5, GPT 4.0. In Google Bard, we have Palm 2 models, okay? And if I talk about large image models, it is nothing but Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, right? And many more things are probably coming up as the research will be going on, right? So this includes both large language models and large image models. But what is the main aim of the specific models? These models are huge models. They are trained with huge amount of data. It has been trained with huge amount of images. It has been trained with huge amount of text. Now, whatever text or this input that you're specifically giving through prompt engineering technique. So whatever input that you give in a kind of format, and that format is specifically called as prompt. You are providing an input, and these models, considering this input, will be able to generate some kind of output. And the output can be in the form of text, image, video, audio, right? So let's say that, and this is where prompt engineering is super beneficial. Now, if I talk about this LLM models, I'll give you some simple examples. Let's say I'm a human being, and I've probably read 500 pages of books about cats, right? Now you give me any kind of question. Just say that, okay, what does cat like in food? So that becomes a prompt, right? And when that prompt is given to me, I will probably be able to give you my own answer because I've learned from all those books. I'll probably make up a sentence and talk about each and everything, right? Now, this prompt will be super beneficial to get the kind of output that you want, okay? And let's say that I will probably try to give a prompt. Tell me what does cat like in winter? Okay, so this becomes a prompt, and here we are giving some kind of context, like what does the cat like to eat food? Probably in winter, right? So I'm giving a context with respect to winter. Now I know that you have asked the question with respect to winter. So now I have to give my answers based on this specific context. And this context is basically defined from the prompt part, right? And that is the reason, this LLM models will be able to give you some amazing outputs if you have much more creativity in specifically in giving this kind of prompts. Right? So that is the reason why prompt is super beneficial. And I'll be showing you a lot of examples considering ChatGPT in mind only. I'll show you here only. And I'll probably give you an idea, like if I'm asking this kind of questions, what kind of output can I get? Like I can also give a question, right? I can give a question to the ChatGPT saying that what is machine learning and explain it to a 5 years old, right? Now, considering that context, 5-year-old, right? The ChatGPT will try to make up a sentence so that the 5 years old will be able to understand. Okay. So this is important. That is the reason why I'm focusing over here. Later on, we'll focus on here, and then finally we'll focus on here, right? So this was about prompt, and this is the most important thing. And since these models are huge model, it will be able to generate any kind of content for you, right? The imagination, it is out of more than your imagination, right? So that is the reason. The more creative you are specifically while giving the prompt, the more amazing output you specifically get. Okay. So this was an idea about prompt engineering. So guys, let's go ahead and see this specific example. And here I'm given a prompt saying that, okay, I'm telling ChatGPT, let's say, or I'm telling Google Bard, this is a product review sentiment classifier. Okay. And then separately, I provide this review. I love this product. Now, this is the example, and I'm saying that, okay, your ChatGPT act like a product review sentiment classifier. And this is the text that I'm giving. I love this product, and you need to tell me that whether this is a positive review or negative review. So the review is positive. This kind of output will come probably from the ChatGPT. Again, you can probably change this based on your creativity. I can say that you act as an AI assistant, probably for finance, for retail domain, and probably explain me about this, right? So similarly over here, review, the next review is waste of money. Then again, the review that probably is given by the ChatGPT is negative. And similarly, finally, review, I recommend not to buy this product. So these are some examples also I can probably give to the ChatGPT so that it will be able to give me the output. So finally, obviously, when I give the last input saying that I recommend not to buy this product, and here you'll be able to see when I pass this to my language model, it will probably give you negative. Okay. I will show you all these examples as we go ahead. But let's see some of the examples. Now, example of prompt engineering, where exactly can it be used? It can be used in text summarization, information extraction, Q&A, question and answering, text classification, and code generation, right? I will show you all these kind of examples as we go ahead. And later on, in the next part, when I'm coming up with this specific video, I'll also show you with the help of coding. And the prerequisite is that you only need to know about the Python programming language. Okay. Now here you have this text summarization. I've given a full article over here. With the help of, let's say that I've given Mahendra Singh Dhoni, so and so I've written over here, and I've told the ChatGPT to just summarize this into 2 lines. So automatically, the text summarization technique is basically applied, and this is basically getting used from the LLM models itself, right? LLM model has that specific capability. Then information extraction, let's say here is a text saying that India surpasses UK and become number 5th in GDP. My zodiac sign is Aries and yours is Libra. MS Dhoni is one of the captain in India who won all the ICC events. So if I probably ask the question after giving this text saying that who has won all the ICC events to the ChatGPT, automatically it will be able to extract this information from this particular paragraph, right? So amazing, right? And here also it is like a question answering session. I can continuously ask multiple questions. You can set up the context and continuously it will be able to answer it. Okay. And finally, you'll also be able to do the text classification. Now, what we are going to do is that I will show you some of the example of how you can probably be much more creative with respect to writing prompts. And later on, how you can also integrate this in the code, that I will be showing you in the next part. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's open the ChatGPT and we'll try to have a look onto that. So guys, now let's go ahead and probably explore some of the techniques of prompt engineering in ChatGPT also. I have also opened Google Bard. Yeah, both of them are free, but if you also have that API, if you have that particular membership for this ChatGPT, it hardly takes around $20. You can probably get the answers very much quickly, right? Now here, I'll just ask one question, okay? I'll say act as an AI assistant, okay, to explain any topics that I give, okay? So let's say I've just said that, okay, act as an AI assistant to explain any topics I give, okay? Of course, I'm here to help. Provide me the topic you would like to explain, okay? So let's say I am talking about explain machine learning to 5 years old, right? Now see, here only, when I say explain machine learning to 5 years old, it will try to give you the answer in such a way that in very simplistic manner, it will probably tell how we basically explain it to a child itself. Similarly, in that specific way also, it will be able to explain it, okay? So here you can see the entire answer. Imagine you have a toy that can recognize different colors. At first, this, okay? And let's say if I also change this context, right? Now, if I say explain machine learning to a 35 years old, okay? Now here, it will try to use all the advanced techniques, probably considering that a 35 years old can understand this language, right? So here also it says at its core, machine learning involves training a computer system using a large amount of data and all. Now, this generative models, this large language models are super amazing, guys. It can generate any kind of content, but it is based on your input. If you give a meaningful input, you will be able to get that kind of amazing output, okay? I'll tell you one example. Recently, I was having a conversation with the CEO of one newspaper channel, right? What he was saying is that the journalists, when they are probably creating their own digital content, they really need to write this kind of context, right? But what they are basically doing is that they write this content based on the people who are reading their newspaper. And let's say that they want to increase their user scope to a children, to a 18 years old, 35 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. They really want to create that kind of content itself. And journalists are not able to do that. So they definitely want some kind of help with respect to this kind of ChatGPT, right? And that is where I think ChatGPT can do an amazing task considering this, right? Now let's go ahead and see some more example. Here I will be saying that act like a maths teacher and explain me about derivatives in a simple way. Okay, so this is my new prompt. See, I'm saying that act like a maths teacher and explain me about derivatives in a much more simpler way. Now, this kind of words are adding additional context to just make sure that whenever what kind of definition or explanation is given, that how extreme complex it is or how easy it is, right? So here you can basically see that if we calculate the derivative of height with respect to time, it gives us the velocity of the ball at any given moment. Or if I can also ask, like, okay, explain about derivative to a 5-year-old. Okay, so I will say act like a maths teacher, okay, and explain me about derivatives to a 5 years old. Okay, so now I'm changing the context. Now a little bit easy way that you will be able to find it. Imagine you have a big slide in playground. When you slide down, you start at top and you go faster and faster as you come down. This is amazing, right? So this kind of examples looks pretty much fun. If you are knowing about derivatives, obviously it will be able to show this, right? You'll be able to understand a bit of things, right, in this. And obviously this is very, very good, right? So the creativity is all on your prompt engineering work, right? Like what kind of prompts you are specifically asking, okay? Let's say that many people usually ask me this question, Krish, when we are learning programming language, right? Initially, we will not know where it is exactly used, right? So let's say I will probably ask some questions over here and explain about lambda function. Because many people also ask this kind of questions, right? Lambda function and Python provides some code also. Okay, so let's say I'm asking this specific question. So it has been giving you this entire information. What is lambda function? This. And here, if you ask them, okay, where can you show me some examples where it is used in real world scenarios? Okay, so this is the question, because many people will be excited where this is exactly used, why we are learning this kind of questions usually comes. So here you can see sorting a list of tuples. It is giving you all the example, right? All the examples where specifically it is used in various cases. You can ask for more example as you probably go ahead, right? So this actually gives you an idea. It has a lot of contents. You just need to retrieve those content from these LLM models, and for that you definitely need to put some creative prompt. Okay, and when you start putting some creative prompt, you will be able to get that specific kind of output. So this was just an introduction about prompt engineering. Later on, if you probably go and see OpenAI, right, OpenAI tutorials, here I will be showing you how we can probably use this and how we can use this prompt through the code also, right? Let's say that tomorrow you want to build your own chatbot, you want to solve your own use cases, and for that you really need to create your own prompts, right? Because you will not be creating a generate chatbot, right? OpenAI has done this one thing amazing, that it has exposed that API, it is given to you. Now you can do anything that you want, fine tune with respect to your data, apply your own techniques of prompt engineering and try to use it, right? So all those things will be coming up as we go ahead. And there are also some libraries which I will also create a dedicated playlist over here. So if I probably search for LangChain, right? So here you'll be able to see LangChain. In LangChain also you have a separate topics regarding entire prompt engineering, right? So here you'll be able to see chains, here you'll be able to see data connection, here you'll be able to see all these things, right? Memory, right? And all the way at the end of the day, you will be doing prompt engineering in this. So prompt engineering through code, how you can design your own prompt templates, everything will be shown over here. See, there's a topic, model IO prompt, right? So we will specifically be understanding what is this prompt template, how to probably create your own template, you know, how you can generate your own sentences with respect to the specific prompts, right? And how you can be much more creative. That all things I will try to explain, and OpenAI has done a tremendous amazing work. So guys, I hope you were able to understand about prompt engineering. You got the idea about generative AI, LLM models and all, and you got some basic idea what exactly prompt engineering is for and what is the importance of that. In the upcoming videos, I'll be showing you with respect to coding, how you can actually perform prompt engineering with the help of OpenAI API. Along with that, the prerequisite is that you just need to know Python programming language, and I'll show you that how you can use this kind of APIs. So yes, this was it from my side. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you and all. Take care. Bye-bye.